Book of Exodus, chapter 9, starting at verse 13. And the Lord said unto Moses, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, power of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me. 14. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. Verse 15. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I might smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory. Call halal Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, Waha, Rakakadaspakatham. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone to open this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim around the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth for faith and sincerity, risking their lives and the freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwap and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, this is an edifying video. Shalom to the confusion of faith, brethren, join into our ranks. This is the brother Yahweh Sop out of the GMS Cleveland Church and a fellow servant coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit. I was listening to brothers in different camps. They were speaking on different pestilence, like the brothers from Ancient Days was talking about how Vegas was getting played with the locusts, and I think the brother from Kansas City as well. A few brothers did videos on this through the Spirit. Then you got the bubonic plague that's in California. You know, you got Legionnaire disease popping up here and there. There's a lot of stuff going on, you know what I mean? And, you know, men of the Lord, and even the women, you know, because you got elect that are of women. I mean, you got the women, you got some elect women, or you got women that are of the elect as well. You get, but, you know, anybody that's spiritual, put it like that, like with a spiritual eye to see and is discerning the times they see, you know, these are pestilences and plagues sent from on high by the Most High Yahweh Yahweh. So, I got a few articles I'm going to get. There's not many scriptures. Well, at the same time, you know, relevant scriptures, you know what I mean? This lesson wasn't meant to be that long. This is actually an old article. But to show you something, this is the reason why I'm doing this for a reason to prove a point. This is dated June 13, 2018. Yes, the plague still exists. Here's what it's like now in the U.S. It says, child in Idaho was recovering after being struck with the plague, leaving many wondering how the plague existed in the 21st century. The disease dates back to the Middle Ages when it killed millions of Europeans before the age of antibiotics. At the time, they did not realize the plague was carried by the fleas who lived on rats. And you know, this goes all back to the time of the Dark Ages, when they always, you know, I remember being taught that you know, at that time, people weren't sophisticated. People were, the technology was real low. That's what they considered it the Dark Ages. But in actuality, it was considered the Dark Ages, or labeled the Dark Ages, because that was at the time when we, people like the Israelites, you know, people of color were ruling, you know what I mean? You know, in actuality, people in the past are much smarter than we are today, you know what I mean? This technology is actually a handicap. It dumbs you down. Proven point, say for instance, like I was locked up last year, and, you know, at one point in time, like I grew up in that era, everybody had the rotary phones or had the, you know, the house phone. It was very rare a person had a cell phone, you know what I mean? Although people had them, you know what I mean? Depending on what kind of, you know, like I knew a guy had a car phone, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it was rare to have a cell phone. Everybody had pagers. So you had to actually remember the numbers, and that actually had you using your brain more. Nowadays, like I said, you lose this phone, and it's like you lost your arm. You know what I mean? Nobody remembers numbers, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's just showing you how Esau studies this shit. He knows this. He knows what he's doing. But not to digress, and this is called the Black Death because it killed a lot of Jakes. You know, it really killed our people. Although the idea of the Black Plague sounds dire, another Black Death is not coming. Now, this is what they say. Although the idea of the plague sounds dire, another Black Death is not coming. The plague, in spite of its lethal reputation, is not uncommon in the U.S. and is usually no longer a death sentence. according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The plague was first introduced in the U.S. in 1900s by rat-infested steamships. It is most common in the western U.S. The plague is caused by bacteria. Well, okay, how common is the plague? Since 2000, the CDC has received reports of 1 to 17 cases in the plague per year. In the U.S., the areas the plague is more common include northern New Mexico, northern Arizona, southern Colorado, California, southern Oregon, and western Nevada. Okay, so basically, that's going into, it's not as common, but it is common on the western side of the earth. Bear with me for a second. Okay, now this is a more recent article. This is July 20th, 2019. As you can see, that was June something of last year, though, 2018. California doctors warn bubonic plague could hit Los Angeles after typhus outbreaks. So typhus is another plague. Talk show host Drew Pinsky, who predicted the current typhus outbreak affecting Los Angeles residents, is now warning bubonic plague could soon sweep through Los Angeles and push out into the rest of the country. This is unbelievable. I can't believe I live in a city where this is not third world. This is medieval, Pinsky says, according to Fox News. Third world countries are insulted if they are accused of being like this. And that's just beautiful. Like I said, I had to actually take the time and think about what I was reading. You know how you just get into automatically saying something? You hear what he said? And while everybody just try to put this piece of shit place on a pedestal, he said third world countries would get exalted if you was to say that they, you know what I mean, and compare them to this shit. But you got a major city. Do you know that California is like our second major economy in the country? Yet and still, this place is plagued with all these. Have you seen the homelessness out in that area? And then the dumbass demon I had children with, this bitch moves out there. You know what I'm saying? Like just, but that's neither here nor there. I like to bring that up to show you the stupidity of the women. You know what I'm saying? And once I get to understand it, you know what I mean? Like, this is a punishment to me. If I was hard-headed and hard-hearted, why would he give me a hard-headed and hard-hearted woman? But it just proving the point about Job 39:17. You know, he didn't give a woman wisdom. Why would you move out to a place if you ain't working? Why would you go to a place that the rent is more expensive than the place that you originally at? Anyhow, it says, according to CBC News, the city of Los Angeles is grappling with deteriorating sanitation problems as an increase in homeless camps, that's the spirit, I just spoke on that, and illegal dump trash have created conditions for rats and other vermin to infest LA. And that's where you going to get that passing on the bubonic plague. You know, like my lot was to be homeless. You would see, like in the area where we used to eat at, people were so stupid, like I used to get like real highly heated about that shit, ready to fight over that shit, because you'll be laying down somewhere and that motherfucker, like people come bring food or whatever, or a motherfucker just come out there and they just start dumping their trash right there, but it's rats out here. So no, like, it'd be some furniture moving, like, or some, we outside, so it'd be some bricks and dirt moving. You gotta be fucked up. Like, you ain't about to just come right here. But my point being, that shit attracts rats. You get what I'm saying? You'd be surprised, you know what I mean? Like, you could, because a rat is a bad motherfucker. He can smell food in the winter, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, real talk, you know what I mean? Like, you thought a dog had a strong nose, like a rat, a bad motherfucker. And their teeth can eat through metal, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, so if he bites you, you ain't even gonna feel him biting you because his teeth is so sharp, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow, and that's how they spread that disease, and that's how it was spread back then, and it's nothing new under the sun. That's in the book of Ecclesiastes, so that's how it's going to be spread again today. It says throughout Los Angeles, starting to spread to residents. Okay, it says infectious diseases, some that haven't been seen since medieval times, are running through homeless communities throughout Los Angeles and starting to spread to residents and city workers. I'm going to repeat that. As we reported earlier this year, infectious diseases, some that haven't been seen since medieval times, are running through homeless communities throughout Los Angeles and starting to spread to residents and city workers. And best believe, they not reporting it. I mean, like, it's probably more serious than what they're reporting on. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably like they're saying city workers starting to catch it, so that's why they gotta make it known a little bit more, because they don't give a fuck about their homeless population like that. Trust me, I've been in. I mean, I can speak on it because I've been through it. Like I said, fuck somebody just speaking on something that ain't never. That's like them boxer commentators that speak on, like, I used to feel like Mayweather and Roy Jones, like how you always just get into it with that one commentator Merlin. I remember, I can't pronounce his name. He an Edomite though. His name started with an M. Roy Jones used to get into it with, because it was like he always critiquing some of the best Jake boxers though. And then you come to find out this bitch ain't never boxed though. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck you? I mean, I can see a person that played the game, not a coach or commentator, but you ain't never did this shit. You got a position speaking on some shit. You know, it's shit crazy. But my point being, you know, they don't put the energy. I mean, like, to me, it says in scripture that the people are like the ruler, or like the king. The people are like how the king is. So you have a president that's ignorant, racist, you know, nonchalant. He's unsympathetic to a lot of different things, and that's why you have these people that turn a blind eye to a lot of the conditions of what's going on. Homelessness has increased. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they have this stupid ass mindset of, oh, well, you ain't just trying to do nothing. Like, are you serious? I've been homeless and watched dudes go to work and then come and lay on the fucking ground. But a person ain't been through the shit won't understand none of that. They just go by, you know what I mean, just stupidity of it. You got, like I said, he's telling you that they're making places great. I just watched something on the news. I should have fucking filmed it. It was a furniture store somewhere in Ohio, or, you know, somewhere in this county, Cuyahoga County, and they're going out of business. So how the fuck is he creating jobs if you got jobs or companies still closing? But to show you how stupid people are, for real, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's steadily in your face, but yet still you just so brainwashed. Oh yeah, it's jobs. How you gonna compare a fucking Uber job to an actual job? You know what I'm saying? Like a Ford plant closing, laying off 10,000 people compared to, oh yeah, I started 10,000 Uber jobs. Like, are you fucking serious? Ooh, it's gonna bust them in the head. I ain't about to let this go too further on though. Make this too long, Salakia. It says we have a complete breakdown of the basic needs of civilizations in Los Angeles right now. Stupid, bro. You see this? Where they have a complete breakdown of the basic needs of civilization in Los Angeles right now. Pinksy told Fox News host Laura Ingraham. Salaki. We have the three prongs of airborne disease, tuberculosis exploding, rodent-borne. We are one of the only cities in the country that doesn't have a rodent control program, and sanitation has broken down. Wow. So meaning they probably got less people to actually, and California is a big-ass state, too. Fears of bubonic plague outbreak in Slovakia. Fears of bubonic plague outbreak growing throughout Southern California. Pixie said bubonic plague, also known as the Black Death, a pandemic that killed off millions in the 14th century, is likely already present in Los Angeles. The plague is spread by infected fleas and exposure to bodily fluids from a dead plague-infected animal, with the bacteria entering through the skin and traveling to lymph nodes. Sadly, liberals know they have created the problem, even know that the bubonic plague is probably inevitable, but instead of coming up with solutions to the filth they have allowed to take over their city, they are already getting ready to shift the blame to climate change. And that's the stupidity of these people. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is something that's supposed to be tackled when, like, say, you're supposed to be, if anything, you're supposed to be hiring more sanitation workers or something like that. You know what I mean? If you just give, you know, residents of the city incentives to go ahead and clean up. You know what I'm saying? Something, because at the end of the day, if you just trying to blame it on the weather, I mean, like, oh my God, this shit gonna be terrible. You know, what was that shit called? That Ebola shit? I'll never forget when I first became homeless. You know what I mean? It was a Edomite chick. This bitch talking about she had the Ebola. She just came from Dallas. You know what I mean? Now that's nobody's speaking on that though. And this was here. I got one more article and then I'm gonna finish with these two scriptures and then that's it. Go going to go into the plague of the grasshoppers, which grasshoppers ain't exactly locusts, but they are Salakia, because I said locusts earlier, and I said the brother from Ancient of Days spoke on locusts, but grasshoppers are in the locust, I guess, family, but they're not exactly the same, but it's the same family. Swarms of grasshoppers, but I think locusts are actually lawful to eat. I know grasshoppers are. Swarms of grasshoppers invade Las Vegas. Everybody was going crazy. A migration of mild-mannered grasshoppers sweeping through the Las Vegas area is being attributed to wet weather several months ago. Insects are harmless, but tourists were stunned by what some are calling the Great Grasshopper Invasion of 2019. It was crazy. We didn't even want to walk through there. And that's the thing. They may be harmless, but like I said, I can imagine that in my mind, you know what I mean, that many, that can cause like some issues, you know what I mean? I was watching that movie, what's the name of that damn movie? It was a very blasphemous movie too. It had the angels in it. It had the dude Dennis Quaid. It had the dude from the show Rock, Charles Dutton. What the hell is his name? What dude's supposed to be an angel? He's supposed to be an angel Michael. He came to Earth to actually save the female baby. Legion, that's what the name of it was. But it was blasphemous because basically they tried to paint the picture that God is fallible. You know what I mean? That's what these Edomites and these people do. They try to say like the Most High God got it wrong. When what you don't realize is the Most High so cold, he got you thinking that you smarter just so he could fuck you up in the end. Like, it's cold. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna sit up there? I mean, when you take your time to really sit up there and read the Bible, everybody believe in the Bible. Half the stuff that you say you believe in, you don't follow. Or, you know, the world is ran contrary to what the Bible say, but everybody believe in the Bible. It's just now being known that how people don't believe in the Bible. I mean, it's more atheists in the world right now than there's ever been, but it's more prophecies that's been in the Bible that's been fulfilled than ever in history as well. So, you know, yeah. So I ain't even gonna continue with this. It's CBS News, and at the end, that's a plague. You know what I mean? If you go into Salakia. If you go into the 10 plagues in Egypt, which this is Sodom and Egypt, or the modern day Egypt, because Egypt just simply means bondage, and we're all slaves to this place. That's why you have a security card and a social security number and all that. You know what I mean? You really don't have the right to do what you want to do. You have the illusion they can confuse you and trick your dumb ass. Because if you had the right to do what you want to do, you could just up and leave when you want, but you can't. You got to go get a passport. Okay, so bugs is one of the plagues. Oh, that's a spirit, because I didn't know nothing about the wild animals. And through the spirit, I was going to do a video on animal attacks. Bugs. Then Yahweh ordered Aaron to strike the dust of the earth with a staff, and no sooner did he do so that all over Egypt bugs crawled forth from dust to cover the land. Man and beast suffered untold misery from this terrible plague. Although Pharaoh's age points out that this surely was Yahweh's punishment, Pharaoh hardened his heart and remained relentless in his determination to keep the children of Israel in bondage. But what they don't tell you, or what a lot of people tend to look over or don't pay attention to, is the fact that it wasn't Pharaoh that just hardened his heart. It was the Most High that actually had him harden his heart. You get what I'm saying? So it was ultimately the Most High. So he can, and Pharaoh got destroyed after all this. Like I said, we are nothing but, it's saying in scripture, even the ones he loved, you know, it said he loves, you know, Israel. Israel is the apple of his eye. He called us Jacob worms. So, you know what I mean? Like, we all pawns on a chessboard being moved by, you know, the Most High. So, I'm about to finish this out because I only got a few scriptures. But at the end of the day, as you can see, it's plagues and pestilence. I got two scriptures. They're in the book of, they're in the Apocrypha, actually. I might could just end it with one for real, because I got my point out. Salakia. That ain't what I want. Second Ezra is 16. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 14. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Verse 15, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consumes the foundation of the earth. And as you can see, these plagues is not going to stop. This pestilence ain't going to stop. It might be abated, but the most they're going to do is like how I read out of that article. They not even attempting to try and tackle the situation at hand. They attempting to try and blame it on something else. So what happens to the actual the condition of what's going on? If they already trying to shift blame. They trying to blame it on climate change when actually it's already proven. That's the spirit. I got a book right now talking about how climate change is made up. You know what I mean? Like he does some made up shit. Talk about how Al Gore made all these different alliances with all these different companies, and basically so they can tax these companies and people. It's another industry to make money off of. That's all they trying to do. And as far as what's coming, things are going to speed up and only get worse. I mean, the Bible prophesies this. I was talking to a guy I knew when I was homeless yesterday. This dumbass dude comes and talks to me, and I like him, but he reminds you of the typical Jake, just dumb and don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Just like I said, that's why I can't feel sorry no more. I mean, you cannot imagine the hell I go through each day, and I'm growing colder and colder. I'm watching myself. I mean, I always thought I was lightweight, a cold-hearted person, but I realized I wasn't. But I'm about to be though, because you know what I mean. Like at the end of the day, I can't feel sorry for a stupid person like this. Like, this dude literally said he thought Donald Trump was a good person. I say, you do know he talking about he cutting off $3 million. This dumbass dude say, well, if I take my food stamps, I'm going to buy some junk. With cash, you're going to have to spend. So he's up there literally like, well, yeah, that's a good thing. And I'm thinking like, it's a good thing because it ain't affecting you. It ain't never a good thing when it's affecting you personally. I say it's people that actually got jobs and get these food stamps that actually need these food stamps because obviously their income is not actually helping them make it. You sitting up there, a lot of the people like that's going to get affected by that. You got people that actually that got cut off this shit. So, you know what I mean? But like I said, that's the mentality that Donald Trump brought to this place. You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to steer this place when it crashes to a point where it just don't completely flop everywhere. That's why, he could cut $3 million here. He could, he's trying to keep this juggling act going as long as he can. But y'all just listening to the dude like, you stupid as fuck. Like, don't you realize, like, this is the same dude that just had people working for nothing. I mean, they got their money in the back end, but still, though, that was like a test to see how much motherfuckers, ain't no way that he should have been able to get away with no shit like that. Like, people supposed to stood up, you know what I mean? But, it's going to be a point when people are going to stand up, and by that time, they're going to think that they got away. Our people are broken down. Do you know, of course we know Israel is broken down, but I'm talking about just these so-called fucking stupid-ass Americans, period. Do you know, like, over in France, that them people are doing that yellow jacket protest? They've been doing that shit for, like, almost 6 months. So, while Americans always talked about how soft the French were, them motherfuckers standing up. What you doing? So, like I said, this fire is not going to... the fire is kindled. Kindle meaning it's going to burn hotter, you know what I mean? And shall not be put out till it consumes the foundation of the earth. I got one more script. Salaki, did the dude sit up there and say, he says, what he say? He say, I hope it ain't going to be like that. He's like, you think it's going to be a war? Now, these motherfuckers are stealing people. They not stealing. They stealing oil tankers. Oil tankers worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? What is wars fought over? You know what I'm saying? Ain't no major invasions. America created the way to invade your shit without invading your shit. They come in there, oh yeah, we're going to save these people from their dictator, democracy. So, as far as just like fuck coming in, you know what I mean, invasions, America done invented a way to invade your shit without you knowing it's an invasion. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. But he sat up there and said he hoped that it ain't going to be the one. Because he like, is it going to be a war? I'm like, man, don't you see what's going on? They done blew this people. What do y'all do all day? That's what I'm curious. Like, I do a lot, and people probably think I don't do shit, but I'm like, I do a lot in a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, how don't you know? I know a dude that work at a hospital, and hospitals, every fucking probably room in the fucking hospital got a TV. You are a janitor. You got a whole radio in your area that you go to go hide and got your break at, and you don't know nothing that's going on in the fucking world. So how could I possibly feel sorry for this nigga when, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Most High got, like, say, if you ever seen that movie Final Destination, Most High got a specific plan. How he gonna fuck you up or save you in the end. This is my last scripture. This book of Habakkuk 3, starting at verse 4. And his brightness was as the light, and he had horns coming out of his hands, and there was the hiding of his power. Verse 5, before him went the pestilence, and the burning coals went forth at his feet. Verse 6, he stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered, and the perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. And who is that speaking on? That's talking about Yahweh Shah. And it's talking about the pestilence that's going to come before his actual coming. So at the end of the day, you know, we as potential men of the Lord, the hopeful elect, you know, we look for the signs of his coming. So we understand that this shit gonna get way worse before it get better. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory. Call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, it was an edifying video. Shalom to the confusion of faith. Brethren, join onto our ranks. Lord willing, I'm able to come at you with another lesson as soon as possible. And with that, shalom, shalom, and a bod ball.